Welcome to the Weather Farm. I'm meteorologist Christopher Hale, and we have live coverage of severe weather throughout Mississippi and Alabama. We have right now, on average, we have about 2 active tornado warnings, and we're going to jump into both of those right now. They are near the town of Laurel. They've moved through Laurel, Mississippi, which is northeast of Hattiesburg, along I-59. We've seen them move through Heidelberg, up towards Shibuda, up between Quitman and Shibuda. And so we're watching right now, I'm just going to kind of zoom in here. We are watching this little couplet right here for potential of a tornado. Now, we've seen radar indicated tornadoes with this particular system. And so we are going to continue to watch this right now. Just taking a look at my other monitor here to kind of see if there's any updates here. So what we're seeing here with this particular, let me clear that off. So when we see the red here, this is the high resolution storm velocity radar. So when we see the red, that means that the winds are moving away from the radar. And the radar is, let me show it. The radar is over here in Mobile. So we're up here in this storm right here. And so we have winds that are moving away from the radar in the red. And where we see this green, that's where winds are moving towards the radar. So we see, let me draw here, away from the radar and then towards the radar. So we get that counterclockwise rotation with the system. And so that's what we look for where we see these couplets, and that's what we call where we see the red and the green being real close to each other. We just got an update with a radar scan, so that system continues to move off to the northeast. It is making its way towards Needham. So if you're in the area of Needham, you should be on the lookout. Other places in the watch area, it's going to come to the south of Quitman, but we're going to watch that it's going to continue to pass on. The other tornado warning that we are looking at, we're down to 1, so this is the only one that is active right now. So this is Clark County in Mississippi. This is the one that we are watching for possible tornadoes. Let's flip over. Let's see if we can see anything with the correlation coefficient. We don't really see a lot here. I zoom in. Remember, the storm was right around here between Shibuda and Quitman. So we're not really seeing a lot of debris in the area. So that's an indicator. Also, if we start seeing these blues here, then we would look to see that's an indicator of a low correlation coefficient with this particular storm. And so we would start to see things like leaves blowing in the air, trash can lids, things like that. Anything that's not a raindrop, the correlation coefficient is going to give in a darker color, those blues and those purples. And so when we start to see those blues and those purples coming together, that is an indication that we have some debris in the area. And we're just not seeing that with this particular system right now. So let's go back. Let's see. If you do have a comment, go ahead and leave that in the chat. We will try to get that information to you as soon as possible. I'm going to go back to the radar. Let's turn back on the high storm velocity radar. Again, that storm continues to move to the northeast. Again, Needham is the next in its place, so we're going to continue to watch that. This has also indicated 1-inch size hail with this particular storm. And so let's see, what else does it tell us? Yeah, it should be around Quitman around 720, Crandall 725, Sykes around 730. So if you have not yet already, take cover now. Um, this is a potentially dangerous storm. It has weakened slightly as it was down here around Laurel and Heidelberg. We did see the designation of a particular dangerous situation, but right now we're not really seeing much here. And let me just zoom out here, get that off of there. Let's see. We have a severe thunderstorm warning here, again around just east of Laurel. Again, 1-inch quarter-size hail. I don't really see a lot here with this particular storm at the moment. We do see some coupling here. Let's turn back on the radar and see. So if I zoom out, I'm trying to look for kind of a bowing echo here. We start to see this little bit of a bow here with that system that's between in our tornado warning area. So that's what we're looking for. Really don't see anything around Laurel. Let's turn this off, go out a little bit more. We did have some storms over here in Alabama that we were watching. This particular storm, just is west of Montgomery, it seems to have stabilized a little bit. So there's not a lot going on with that. Down along the Gulf Coast where we thought we might see some additional storms on our Wednesday evening, we're really not seeing the blow up of storms that we thought. Maybe a little bit here as we go north and east of Mobile, up towards Chatham, east of Hattiesburg. Not really seeing a lot here either. So we're going to continue to watch that. Let's see. Yeah, we still don't have any other warnings other than this single tornado warning. So let's just go ahead and jump right back into that. It was giving us some signs of a hook, and we still kind of see that a little bit here. It's kind of hard to make out. We start to see a little bit there. We start to see an inward notch maybe forming here. So we're going to continue to watch this particular area as this system continues to move off to the north and east. It's getting ready to cross over into Alabama. So we'll see if this warning is continued as we move forward. Let me just jump over and check one other thing real quick. Okay, let's see. Just kind of watching right now to see if anything else pops up. I mean, we have strong storms here around Laurel. This is just more, could have some hail in here. Let's see if I can look for anything. Yeah, I don't really see anything here that would indicate any kind of hail or anything like that. So let's just jump right back into monitoring these storms. We'll wait for another refresh here. Just gonna turn on a couple things, maybe that would help us. Radar settings. And again, I'm using Radar Omega. It is it's one of the best radars that I have found in my time doing weather forecasting and weather streaming. Radar Omega has different levels of subscription plans that you can subscribe to, starting at $4.99 a month. They also have, I think it's like $50 a year for their basic entry level one. So you may not be able to do all the things that I'm showing you here today, but it is definitely one of the better radars that we use here at the Weather Farm. Yeah, just kind of waiting and watching to see what's going on. Let's see, do we have anybody? We don't have anybody in the area. Yeah. So we'll continue to watch and see what happens with this particular system. While we watch that, we continue to have flash flooding warnings associated with this line of storms. And actually, it's both lines of storms that have moved through today. We've seen several inches of rain as the storms made their way out of Louisiana through Mississippi and now moving into Alabama. So this is definitely something that we are going to continue to watch over the evening. Oh, we just have a new thunderstorm or tornado warning. Let's jump right into that. This one is for Wayne County. It is a radar indicated tornado. So let's zoom right into that. And it's going to go until 8:30 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern. So this is radar indicated. Radar indicated rotation. So again, places that are in the path of this storm are going to be Waynesboro and then just south of Shubuta. So Shubuta, it looks like you are dodging two particular storms. And I'm imagining it is related. Let me stop that. I'm imagining that they have gone ahead and issued this because we have the severe thunderstorm warning here for Laurel. I bet it is this storm that they're forecasting to move out into this area. So they've just gone ahead and preemptively issued that severe thunderstorm warning. So we're going to continue to watch this system out of Laurel and see what happens with it. Let me just switch radars, or let me just see if there's any kind of rotation with this particular system. Yeah, there may be right here. I bet is probably where we're looking, because we're now getting these winds, these reds here. Let me just zoom in a little bit closer. So this one near Mill Creek, Pleasant Grove, you should be on the watch, because right now what we're seeing that these reds with these winds, they're getting wrapped around the winds that are coming back towards the radar. So this is an area that could potentially have a tornado near it or close to being on the ground. So this is why this tornado watch or warning was issued. So Mill Creek, if you're anywhere along US 84, you need to take cover immediately. Yeah, so it is moving. Wait for the next refresh, but this is where okay, there's the new refresh. We're continuing to see that wrapped wind direction. So we do have circulation here with this particular storm. Pleasant Grove, you are now, it's just passing to the south of you. Let's see, let me flip over to another map real quick. What else is in that area? So Pleasant Grove, anywhere along US 84, you are definitely in the path of this storm. Let's go back up to this one. This one up here, again, up here in Clark County, that one is now moving towards Shiloh. That one does bear some watching as well. This is the one that moved between Shubuta and Quitman. We are getting some stronger colors with this particular storm system. And so those stronger colors typically would indicate a deeper, heavier amount of precipitation. We don't see the couplet as nicely wrapping around each other like we do down here just east of Laurel. So we're going to continue to watch both of these storms for their movement. And I don't see that we have anybody in the area at this time. Let me jump over real quick while that's refreshing. Yeah, that's the storm that we're going to continue to watch here. Okay, now it's crossing US 84, Pleasant Grove. If you're in that vicinity, please get to a safe place, the interior room, away from exterior windows on the lowest level of your home. This is a potentially dangerous system that's making its way through your area. We're also going to watch, as you know, we extrapolate this out a little bit. We're going to be streaming up towards West King to Haiwani, US 45. This is the general direction this storm has been moving. So again, if you are in the path between Pleasant Grove and Haiwani, please begin to make your preparations for taking shelter at this time. And I think we just have another tornado warning. Yes. We are now going to go to Choctaw and Marengo counties in Alabama. This is basically an extension of this storm right here as it's crossing the state line. So they've gone ahead and issued tornado warnings for this one. The second one, let me take that off here. Marengo, yeah. So we're watching. It's basically this storm. There is some weak rotation up here, just along, south and south and west of Demopolis. Nothing too terribly strong, but it is this system right here, and we may need to switch to a different radar to get a bit better handle on this because it's almost at the limit of our radar out of Montgomery. So we'll watch this. Let's zoom back in to the one here in Pleasant Grove. That one, we're just waiting for an update here. It should be updating any moment now. Should be getting another sweep here of the radar. But right now we do have 3 active tornado warnings. We're looking at Wayne County in Mississippi, Clark County, and then making their way now into Alabama with Choctaw and Marengo counties here in Alabama. And we do have Brandon Kopic, chaserweather.net, is in that vicinity. So if we see anything, we will watch that particular system. Let's see. We should be getting a radar update. Let's just force it. Let's look at the reflectivity if we see any hook or anything with these particular systems. Let me change my tilt here. It's not good. That's even worse. So let's just keep it right where it was at. There we go. So we're going to continue to watch these particular storms as they continue to move here. And let's turn back on the high resolution storm relative. Oh, we're getting to now. Here we are with this particular system down here in Wayne County. We are continuing to see it has made its way through Pleasant Grove. We did get that latest update. So now we are watching again. We're still seeing that rotation away from the storm to the radar, away from the radar and to the radar. So we are seeing those couplets with this particular system just north and east of Pleasant Grove. Let's see if we see any debris signatures. No, we're not really getting anything here. So we'll continue to watch that. If you're watching us for the first time, let us know in the chat where you are watching from. We would love to hear the different places that you are watching us from. We just had another update. We're still seeing that couplet here with this particular storm. Again, this is the one we are watching right here. This is near US 84 between Laurel and Waynesboro. It is moving off to the northeast. Again, communities in its path. So it's going to impact the community of West King in about 13 minutes. So if you are in West King, Mississippi, please begin your preparations and take shelter immediately. Let's go back up to those systems up in Alabama. As they start to now cross the state line, we do expect that this tornado warning for Clark County in Mississippi will be allowed to expire here at the top of the hour. And we do have 2 tornado warnings for Marengo and Choctaw counties in Alabama. So we're going to continue to watch those. We start to see right here near Hinton, between Hinton and Rock Springs, we're starting to see some mixing of the couplets here. So we're going to watch this particular area here. We do see some brighter colors here as well. So that is an indication that we are getting some rotation with these particular storms. So let's turn that off. And again, this is all associated with a line of storms that is making its way from Birmingham all the way down through Hattiesburg and down into just east of Baton Rouge. And once this line moves through, we really don't expect to see much in the way of severe weather overnight. But we're going to continue to watch this line as it makes its way out of eastern Mississippi and through western parts of Alabama. The thing we're also going to watch is we're starting to see a few more independent discrete cells down here near Wiggins, near Lucedale, Beaumont, Mississippi. We're going to watch these to see if any of these start turning severe. But right now, we don't have any warnings or watches out for this particular area. Our main focus is up here along the Mississippi-Alabama border, making its way eastward towards Selma, eventually making their way over towards Montgomery within a couple of hours. The only other severe weather that we have that we're watching is, again, here in Laurel, Jones County, Mississippi. We continue to have a severe thunderstorm warning for hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. That will go through about the top of the hour here. And really, once we look behind it and to the west, we may see a little bit of formation with this particular line out by Macomb, just south and east of Jackson. We're going to watch as this continues to move through over the next hour, but it's going to quiet down greatly for you across parts of eastern Mississippi. Hey, we love that you've joined us here. If you have any comments about the storms we're tracking, or you want us to answer any questions you might have, just drop those in the chat. We'll be happy to answer those here at the Weather Farm. If you're new to our channel, go ahead and like and subscribe. This is the type of stuff that we love to do here. When we see severe weather, we want to go live whenever it's possible. Whether it's severe thunderstorms, whether it's major winter events, we will try to go live and bring you the latest information as soon as we can with each particular storm. So thank you all for those that are with us right now. Go ahead and click that like and subscribe button so you can be notified of the latest. Okay, let's go back. We're going to zoom in on our radars. I'm going to go back to our radars here. I'm going to jump back up into Marengo and I always forget this one. Choctaw counties in Alabama. We're going to watch for the system that moved out of Clark County. We're going to look at the storm relative velocity. We're not really seeing anything too terribly impressive with this storm. Maybe a little bit down here towards the state line, just north of Needham and west of Butler. I'm going to watch that a little bit. Just not really seeing a lot with this particular storm. And this was the storm that moved out of Mississippi and crossed the state line that prompted the tornado warning here in Clark County, Mississippi, and that one's going to be allowed to expire at the top of the hour. However, the one that is getting the most attention right now is just north of Whistler. Let me just pull something up real quick. Hold on. Okay, we're still monitoring this system that is near Whistler, making its way towards West King. Again, it will be in your area in about 7 minutes. We are watching that. Let's look at something real quick over here. Yeah, we had a question there in the chat. Is Pachuta safe? Let's go back to our map. I believe Pachuta is safe. Yeah. Okay, we're getting a little bit here. Another flare up. Just this is we're probably looking here around Rock Springs. I'd like to see a little bit more rotation with this particular system, but we are getting stronger winds moving away from the radar and some winds starting to come back towards the radar. If I take it out, we're really not, maybe a little bit of a notch here. Tell you, this system down here from Shibuya down through just east of Laurel, that has really turned into a line of storms here. Was discrete cells, it's kind of congealing into a line of storms here. Watching again up here in Choctaw County, Marengo County in Alabama, we're watching this particular storm as it continues to move off to the northeast. Question was, why do these storms get to be so highly localized? And that's another great question. We talked about this in our video that we posted earlier today. There was the thought that with these particular storm systems that we would see highly localized discrete cells with this particular system. So let me just kind of pull up what we were looking at with this particular model. Just give me a minute. Actually, we're going to go back to our radar right now. Let's see, where are we at? We're still watching this storm. We're starting to see maybe some purples here south of Shibuda. Could be an indication of some hail. Hail, $half size hail was indicated with this particular storm. However, they did see a radar confirmed tornado with this particular system. Starting to see some of those purples, so that could be hail indicated there. Yeah, West King, you are definitely, let's see, we were watching a couplet move towards you. Let's see how that's doing. Yeah, West King, you are definitely, we are watching this one. It's not as tightly wrapped because, again, this is moving away from the radar. This is moving towards the radar. So this is more clockwise rotation than the counterclockwise that we like to see. So we're going to continue to watch that a little bit. Let's turn this off. And this could be a tornado on the ground. Let's see here. We're starting to see some debris signatures here. So we do want to watch this right now with this particular system. There could be a tornado on the ground. We don't have anybody in that particular area. South of Shibuda, okay, that one warning for Clark County was allowed to expire. We still have the alert here for Wayne County in Mississippi. And we're really focused on this, and they've really scaled it back, really. It's now just south of Shibuda, north and west of West King, getting ready to cross Highway 45. Haiwani, you're definitely in the path of this storm. As it makes its way across the state border, we're going to look towards Gilberton to see what's going on with this particular system. So we're going to continue to watch this one. Let's see what else. And it's not really seen a lot here. That's an interesting map there. Yeah, so again, we saw that with the radar. This is the hydrometeor classification radar, if you will. So where we see these reds, again, hydrometeor is just the technical term of what a raindrop is. Again, hydro meaning water, meteor, so hydrometeors is what falls from the sky. But where we see these reds, that is indication of very heavy rain or possible hail. When we start to see some of these purples, and I'm really scanning, I don't want to go too granular because it does get a little pixelated there. But from Quitman to Shibuda, just west of Waynesboro, across highway, or US 84, we are seeing heavy rain. We start getting to some of these greens and the darker greens. Again, that's just, a little bit lighter precipitation. We see, again, with this system up here just north of Listman, we also are seeing some very heavy rain connected. Let's put back the storm rotation. Again, we're not really seeing much rotation with this particular tornado warning. It's going to go another half an hour. Hail's really not a threat. I mean, it's less than 3/4 of an inch of hail associated with this storm. So this one seems to be losing its punch as it moves out of Mississippi into Alabama. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that one. But the one that we are watching, and you can see, one thing I love about Radar Omega too is it employs uses storm chasers in the field. So they were up here as this system made its way out of Mississippi over to Alabama. They've now made their way down Highway 17 because they are getting ready for what's here just south of Shabuta, Hiwanee, crossing US 45. It's going to move over into Alabama, and they're positioning themselves to get ready to watch that particular system. So we're going to continue to, again, we're not really getting the greens and the reds in the same way that we would like to see them connected here to indicate some possible rotation. So what we're really just seeing is heavy rain with this particular system. And that's kind of true when we look back again at the radar map. It's really congealed itself into a line of storms. We are starting to see a little bit of a bow maybe, and I could just be reading into this. We're starting to see a little bit of a bowing here as this part of the storm juts out ahead of the line. So that's why we're continuing to watch this particular storm. As we look across the rest of the line of storms, get down here south of Hattiesburg, not really seeing much of anything. We go into far northeastern Louisiana here. No real concentrated areas of rotation with that particular line. It's just primarily a line of storms moving through. We're going to continue to watch this system. Our severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect for Laurel, Mississippi, that has been allowed to expire at the top of the hour. So that is good news. The severe weather, or at least the threat, seems to have moved out of that area. And again, what's really concentrated here with this one particular storm, and then they've even started to cut back here across in Alabama. They've really cut back this initial part of the storm. So really, they're focused on Listman right now in western Alabama. So let's take a look at that. Yeah, there's a great question in the chat there. What is the bowing in the storm? What does that indicate? Bowing in the storm is a way that we can look for where the storm is racing out ahead of it. And so when we start to see that bowing, and if you think of it, when things bow, well, then we have a collapsing behind it. So air is rushing in behind it. And so you start to get a rotation going on in that part of the storm. That's a great question. So that's why we look for those bow echoes, is what they're called. Bowing storms often have strong downdrafts associated with them. They often have damaging wind because the wind is also, if you think of it, the downdraft, it's coming from the top of the atmosphere down through the column of air, which is the thunderstorm. And then if you ever turn on the faucet in your bathtub real quickly, how it spreads out across the floor of your bathtub or in your shower real quickly, that's what the downdrafts do. So when that air comes down through that column of air in a thunderstorm, it hits the ground and it spreads out. So that's why you get those gusts of winds a lot of times racing out ahead of the thunderstorm before the thunderstorm actually gets there. It's because you have strong downdrafts going on. And bowing echoes can also lead to the tornado formation. It's not always indicative. Let me get back to that one because that was, I love that question. It's the stuff I love to do here at the Weather Farm. Yeah, we are really getting to see this line really bowing out a little bit more as it approaches Waynesboro. And so that's why, again, I think we have this tornado warning in place because those downdrafts, rotation, and the environment is just loaded with energy for that to happen. Let's see if I can pull this up, because this is something we were talking about earlier in our video. Let's see. Give me just a moment here. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. How can I switch my stream? great question there. I'm going to try to switch screens here. I don't want to go there. Let's see if I'll leave. Here we go. I am going to go. Doesn't have it there. There we go. This is what I want to talk about right now. So this is the storm right now. If we look at the high resolution model, and we can click right into it here. This is the skew T, and this is, and again, we have a marginal risk of tornadoes. We look at the hodograph up here in the upper right-hand corner. Let me see if I can turn on. We have the hodograph up here in the upper right that we are looking at. Let's see if I can get to a whiteboard. Let me throw up a whiteboard here. Okay. Okay, so here we have, again, we have the hodograph up here in the upper right. And what we start to see with this particular system is that we start to see that there's a little bit of curvature as we go with height. We also look here at our CAPE values, and our most unstable CAPE is very high. It's still over 1,000 joules per kilogram. So that is a very unstable environment. Our storm relative helicities are also very high, under 200, but they're still high enough that we do see some possible rotation. And the convective inhibition is at a negative 29. So that is just telling us that there is loads of information and energy ready for this particular storm. So that's why we continue to watch what is happening with our radar and our storm system. So I'm going to go back to radar Omega here. I'm going to go back to this particular storm. And let's see what's happening with it right now. Oh, we have a new alert. Let's take a look at that. Oh, this one is for Wayne. Yep, it is this particular, yeah. So we're going to zoom right in here. This is Wayne County in Mississippi. This is a potentially dangerous situation with this particular storm. So we're going to zoom in here. Still trying to find a strong area of rotation with this particular storm. Maybe here around Matherville a little bit. We see some, as the storm continues to move across into Alabama, we'll continue to watch that particular storm here. Yeah, so let's see. At 8:05 Central Time, confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located just east of Hywani. So we are talking about this particular area right here, east of Hywani, 5 miles south of Shibuda. and it was moving to the east at 35 miles per hour. So let's take that off, and let's look at some communities in the path of this particular storm. So I'm gonna take this out a long way. This storm is moving at 35 miles per hour to the east. Haiwane at 35. Calculate. So yeah, Haiwane's the big system or community in its path at this time. Yeah, but Emory, if you're in Emory, Alabama, you need to be making your preparations. This storm is moving to your area. Evansboro, you're also in the path of this particular storm. So we're going to continue to watch this one. We do have a tornado warning for southwestern Choctaw County. Tornado, this again is related to the tornado that is in Mississippi, going to move over into Alabama. So we will continue to watch that particular system. Hey, if you are new to this live stream, thank you for joining us. We are monitoring severe weather that is happening right now in eastern Mississippi, making its way across into Alabama. We have an active, potentially dangerous situation in Wayne County in Mississippi. This is related. Let me go back here one moment. Clear this out real quick. Yep. There we go. Had those lines on there from previous map. Get those off of there. We're getting back to our situation. We have a potentially dangerous situation associated with the tornado that was confirmed on the ground near Haiwane around 8:05 local time, 9:05 Eastern. It is moving to the east at 35 miles per hour. So places like Emory, Matherville, if you are anywhere along Mississippi Highway 510, you need to be taking shelter immediately. We're going to look at, we don't see a lot of rotation with this particular storm, but we are continuing to watch it. We maybe are starting to see a little bit of rotation here just south and east of Matherville. So let's see. Let's continue to watch this area. I'm going to turn that off. Turn that off. Let's see. Let's zoom into Matherville. Again, the reds are where it's moving away from the radar, and here's where it's moving towards the radar, and with the greens. And again, the radar that we are looking at is based out of Montgomery. So again, actually we're using Jackson radar right now. Let's see if we can pull up Montgomery. Mobile, Ozark. I pulled the radar out of Ozark. See if that doesn't quite get us the whole area. So let's go back to the radar that we were using out of Jackson. Because that gives us more of the area as we make our way. Once these storms do leave Mississippi, we will probably switch over to another radar site out of Alabama so we can get a better handle on this. But we are watching the potential for this system now as it's crossing the state line. We are watching for the potential of a tornado somewhere along the state line between Matherville and Gilbertson. Let's see. I've seen a lot of lightning associated with this particular storm, but I'm not seeing anything concerning. Let's see. Hey, another great question in the chat. The darker reds was asked, the darker red's the more dangerous, or is it the red and green combination that is most dangerous? And really, the color gradation of the red is an indication of the strength of the winds that are moving either towards or this way away from the radar, or the darker greens are the stronger winds that are moving toward a radar. We look for a couplet, a pairing of the red and greens, and we may be starting to see right here. This is where I'm looking right now. So this is right at the north edge of this particular tornado storm. We're starting to see the red wrap around this little green part. So if this continues to grow as it moves into Alabama, we are going to continue to watch this for particularly dangerous situation. Again, as the storm, here we got another sweep here. Let's clear off that. And we didn't really get much more there. But we had this storm around Haiwani where it was confirmed with a potentially dangerous situation that prompted this extension of the tornado warning. We saw that it's moved just south of Matherville towards Evansboro. And I hope I'm saying these communities correct. But we don't see quite the rotation that we once saw. As we get over here into southern Choctaw County, making its way over into Marengo County, thank you. We're just not really seeing the same intensity with these storms that we once did. But again, we are watching this bowing of the echo right through here. We're starting to see, again, we were looking right here originally, and we're starting to see that this part is jutting out ahead of it. So these storms are racing out a little bit ahead of the line. And that's typical. Again, with those downdrafts, the stronger the storms, they kind of expend a lot of energy of their own and kind of rain themselves out. Look back down here towards Hattiesburg. This line has really gotten a little more intense. This is an area I want to focus right now. We're going to continue to monitor Wayne County up in Mississippi, but Hattiesburg is where we want to look right now. And I don't think we're not under any watches or warnings with this particular storm system. Let's just kind of zoom in, especially as it makes its way into Hattiesburg. Yeah, we see a lot of lightning, 77 degrees with this particular system. Okay, let's take a look here. And again, kind of like what we saw up there in Alabama, there's just not, there's some weak rotation with this system, but there's just not a lot of consistent rotation with this particular storm. So yeah, that's probably why we're not doing it. So we come back up here. Now that storm, okay, so they've let the tornado warning that prompted the potentially dangerous situation that has been allowed to expire for Wayne County in Mississippi. So now our attention focuses over here into Alabama, where we have 2 active tornado warnings for Choctaw and Marengo counties and Choctaw and Clark counties. So we're focusing right here. So Gilberton, Toxie, Needham, you guys need to be on the lookout here. And I'm now getting my eye fixed a little bit right here, where again we have these reds and we have them moving away, and we have the green moving towards the radar. So again, we could see some rotation in this particular area. So I'm just going to continue to watch that for possible development here. So Melvin, Okatuppa, Eiler, Water Valley, these are places that need to be in as it makes its way towards Toxie. We see that a storm spotter is in place there in Toxie. But yeah, we're starting to now watch this particular area, and I don't think that there's anything. Let's see if there's been anything particularly issued for this particular storm. Let's see, at 8:20 p.m. Oh, yep, here we go. At 8:20 p.m., this is what prompted this particular storm. A confirmed tornado was located 6 miles southeast of Crandall, or 17 miles southeast of Quitman, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So this was near Melvin. This is a radar confirmed tornado as well. So this is moving to the north and east. So Okatuppa, Eiler, you definitely need to be making your preparations and getting to your safe space at this time. Let's take the map off. Let's go right into the high storm. Let's look at see if any debris signatures with the correlation coefficient. We start to see some different colors here, especially as we move toward Melvin, towards Eiler and Okatuppa. We aren't seeing the blues, but we are seeing some possible debris in the air with this particular system. Okay, let's go back out. Let's look at the radar with this particular system. So we are watching this particular line. This line, again, we were watching just near Waynesboro. Again, we had the line there. It's kind of bowed itself out, and it's kind of congealing with the storm ahead of it. So we're going to kind of take an eye off of that one. Up here towards Montgomery, maybe a little bit here. We'll continue to watch that, but this is a new tornado warning. So this is a radar indicated tornado. So this was indicated that there was a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado 4 miles northeast of Pennington. So again, we're going to watch this particular area. Let's throw the relative velocities on here. We do see a couplet right here. So we'll kind of watch this particular area. Again, red moving away, green moving towards the radar, but not terribly strong. So we'll continue to watch this particular storm. Again, if you are new to the channel, go ahead and leave comments down in the chat. We would love to know what you're seeing in your particular, from your particular vantage point. What are the things that you have questions on the things that we are showing you here at the weather farm? Okay, so we're going to come back down to this system here. Again, this was a confirmed tornado on the ground as it was southeast of Crandall, making its way to the north and east. We probably don't see as strong a rotation here. Maybe as we get up here north and east of Eiler, making its way towards Turner. Maybe another area of weak rotation around Okatuppa. So we're going to just keep our eye on this particular system for the time being. Hey, I keep getting drawn to this storm here near Billingsley. see if I can get a better radar image of that. And again, the different tilts that we use with our radar just tells us what angle are we sending the beam from the radar into the storm. And so we don't want to overshoot the top of the storm and miss the storm completely. So we look at different angles of the storm when we're determining what angle to look at it. Yeah, this one is starting to get some interesting characteristics here. Again, near Billingsley, again towards the radar and away from the radar. Billings. So we're going to watch this. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a new warning coming out for it fairly soon. Okay, we just got an update of the radar there. A lot of rotation away from the radar and a lot to the radar here around Billingsley. Go back down to our other storm we were watching that was between Needham and Okatuppa. We're really not seeing much here with this particular storm. Let's see. Okay, let's take a look here at our storms. Yeah, it is kind of, again, we have this one that we're watching here, and then we're watching this other one north and west of Montgomery near Billingsley. Those are our two storms that we are tracking on at the moment. I think I'm going to keep this going. See what we have here. Okay. In the meantime, I do want to, let's just jump radars. So I'm going to jump radars, and I'm going to throw the main one on. I want to jump up to this winter storm that we have going on up across parts of the Great Lakes. So this storm system is one we've been talking about here at the Weather Farm. It moved out of Kansas into Missouri through Illinois. Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, you've switched over to completely snow. Down towards Louisville, you're in the rain. But we are now seeing the snow spreading across parts of Michigan into Ontario, parts of upstate New York. But it is here in this area in far southwestern Ontario and far southeastern Detroit, where we are seeing a mix of precipitation. So ice is going to be a concern, freezing rain is going to be a concern with this particular storm. All of this, as we've talked about in our long range video earlier today, it's going to continue to move off to the north and east over the next 24 hours. In fact, by the time we get towards the end of day on our Thursday, let me just pull it up here, regional. And let me switch this over so you guys can see the same one that I'm looking at. So as we throw our map into motion here, we're going to see, again, by the time we get to, I need to update my model run. So this is as of the 0Z run of the HRRR. We can see, again, widespread 2 to 4 inches across parts of southeastern Michigan. But it's as we get into Ontario, making its way into Quebec, we could see near 20 inches of snow near Toronto. and then 20 to 25 inches of snow through Ontario and Quebec. Northern Maine, you could see a good 8 to 12 inches of snow with this particular system as well. But this is something we're definitely going to continue to watch over the next 48 hours as this system makes its way out of the United States and, you know, basically lays a good snowpack down across Ontario and Connecticut. All right, Quebec, I'm sorry. So I'm going to switch back here to our storm, and I'm going to take us back down to the south. I want to see what's going on down here, so let's just jump right back down here. And actually, I think I'm going to pull a radar out of Birmingham. That should get most of our, captures this storm down here. Just because all the storms are starting to move towards Ohio, into Alabama, so it just makes sense to pull a better radar look at this. Again, as we look out up from Tuscaloosa to Birmingham up towards Huntsville, we have widespread heavy rain affecting, you know, the I-59 corridor, the I-65 corridor just north of Birmingham to Huntsville. But it's down just north and west of Montgomery it's north and west of Montgomery that we're keeping our eye on, as well as a system here that has made its way out of Mississippi over into Alabama. We're keeping our eye on these two areas right now for the potential for severe weather. So let's just dive right back in. Let's kind of look and see what's going on with these particular systems. Good news is right now we have no active tornado warnings across parts of Alabama. This has been a good sign. You know, we were concerned about the risk of tornado development, especially with these discrete supercells. But what we're starting to see as we get towards 9:30 here at night, we're starting to see these storms more form into a congealed line of storms. And so even if we pull the radar back out of Jackson, we do have a line of storms through Hattiesburg. I'd probably pull up more of a global radar. Yeah, we have a line that's through Hattiesburg down back towards New Orleans. That's not really severe. You know, the heavier rain is making its way up from Birmingham into northern Georgia, towards Chattanooga, up towards Knoxville. But we're losing the daytime heating. And we said in our long form video today, and if I could ask maybe my assistant that helps me here at the Weather Farm, if you would just if you'd throw that link to the long form video that we did earlier today, if you could throw that in the chat, take a look at that video, because we talked about that there were a lot of conditions, especially as we looked at the SKU-T analysis here at Mobile and in southern Alabama. We thought that there might be a possibility of the storms just really not taking off. The dynamics were there. Storm relative velocities were there. The CAPE values were there. The convective inhibition was negative. We thought there were enough signs that we could possibly get an outbreak of severe weather. The good thing is we've had several tornado warnings, at least radar indicated. We've had probably 5 or 6 confirmed tornadoes or sightings of tornadoes. But what this is telling us is that the atmosphere there's still something in the atmosphere that it can't overcome, that these systems, the downdrafts, are not making their way down to the surface, and so it's not spinning up the tornadoes like maybe we saw a few weeks ago. So that's a great sign. We're really seeing a lot of just hail, severe thunderstorms, heavy rain as we make our way up towards Chattanooga and Atlanta. But you know, maybe this is a quiet night. But let's just zoom right back in here. I'm going to jump back to the Montgomery. I'm going to jump to the radar here. Where's my radar? single site. Here we go. I'm just trying to find, just not really seeing a lot right now. Let's look at this radar right here. Okay. And this is the storm we were watching here. Still see a little bit of rotation here, northwest of Prattville. I'm gonna kind of watch this area. And again, this is where I'm focusing on right here. So just west of I-65 between US 82 and I-65. We don't have any warnings right now. A warning is a tornado is possible in these particular areas, but again, nothing has been confirmed. We really don't see a good signature with this particular storm. There's obviously something here though, and really high correlation coefficient through here. So we're gonna watch that area. Again, just north and west of Prattville. Turn the radar back on. We start to see a little bit of a bowing here with this, the heavier part of the storm. So that's probably what we're seeing here also is just a lot of debris in the air. Why we saw some of those lower correlation coefficients in the debris signature there. Oop, we have something that's just been issued. So let's jump off of there. We have a special weather statement. So for Coosa, Elmore, Chilton, Tallapoosa, and Altauga counties in Alabama. So let's see what's going on with that particular storm system. So let me just go to my other screen here, and we're going to watch what's going on here. There it is. So this special weather statement says we have gusty winds up over 50 miles per hour. It's radar indicated. So again, that's consistent here. So yeah, we saw this debris signature right here. And so if they're giving a special weather statement for things that are flying around in the air, like unsecured things in your yard, maybe, I don't know what it could be, umbrellas, things like that in your backyard. If those are unsecure and they're flying around, the radar is going to pick those up. And so that's what we could be seeing here. If you are outdoors, to consider taking shelter immediately. Torrential rainfall, probably another indicator of what we're seeing right here with that correlation coefficient. Torrential rainfall, probably in this line right now, is occurring with this storm. It may lead to localized flooding. Do not drive your vehicle through flooded roadways. Frequent cloud-to-ground lightning is occurring right with this storm at this moment. So there's I don't want to do that. Let's turn that off. Yeah. So again, we're going to watch that particular storm. As it continues to move east. So that includes everywhere from just north of Prattville through Alexander City, across Interstates 65 and US 231. We continue to watch. Let's see. We take our radar here. We're still watching a line of storms south and west of Hattiesburg. I don't think there's anything. There's no warnings. There's no tornado warnings out for any of those. Again, we're just seeing weak rotation. Nothing too terribly concerning at this moment. It's just, again, another weak system. Continue to watch that. All right, the big warning that we have right now. Oh, we have is for this area just north of Montgomery, where they're having torrential rainfall, heavy cloud to ground lightning associated with this storm. This is all moving off to the east northeast. We'll continue to monitor that. If you have questions, go ahead and drop those in the chat. Thank you for those of you that have stopped by this evening. We're a new channel. We're just getting started in this niche of online weather forecasting. We produce weather videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We look at the entire United States. We also try to incorporate an element of teaching in each of our videos. So there is a link to our video that we released this morning where we talked about the setup here across Mississippi and Alabama along the Gulf Coast, where we could see the potential for some severe weather and some tornadoes possibly. And we looked at it through the lens of the skew-T analysis. We looked at the CAPE values and the convective inhibition. We looked at the hodograph. So we looked at things from a lot of different lenses. And so that's what we do here at the Weather Farm. I am going to kind of just look down here. This is a little interesting. So we've gotten some cells to start popping just north of Mobile. So I'm looking at this particular cell. I'm looking at this area, and then this one as well. No warnings or watches have been issued with those particular cells. But those are things that we're going to continue to watch because they have kind of come out ahead of this main line. They've remained somewhat discreet. So let's just jump right into one to see if we can see anything going on with this particular cell. It has some weak rotation at best. It's moving off to the east-northeast. Near Grove Hill, we really don't see a lot. As we get up towards Orville, Camden, again, we really don't see a lot. One that shows maybe a possibility is down here near Citronelle, between 43 and 45 in Alabama. Yeah, we're just not really seeing a lot right now. Let's go back up to that. That's that storm that's out here in north of Montgomery. It continues to produce heavy rain. On another screen, I'm looking at some radar images, some video from this particular storm. It's a heavy rainstorm. It's basically what it is right now. Probably pretty strong winds. Look here, over here, just south and east of Demopolis. Again, some weak rotation, nothing too terribly severe. So I'm going to take us out of this. I don't really see any severe weather right now. This looks like it may try to form into a line. A question in the chat, is a congealed line better than single cells? Yes. Single cells, they are usually more destructive than a congealed line of storms. Hold on. What? Yeah, getting back to your question, yes. Congealed lines typically produce more straight line winds. They typically don't spin up tornadoes like discrete supercells do. Lines of storms like what we're seeing through Hattiesburg up toward Meridian, north of Montgomery, they tend to produce heavy rainfall. The benefit of a congealed line is it often can last a long time. You know, we see those things that run with the nighttime jet stream. They can ride that nighttime jet stream and that energy. They don't necessarily need the daytime heating of the sun for their energy source. They ride those nighttime jet streams and they can go all through the night into the early morning. We see that typically up in the mid latitudes more during summertime. Individual cells, they tend to rain themselves out, to be quite honest. They use all their energy because they need to continually be regenerating themselves. Storms go through a process of regeneration. So as you may see a storm moving in, it could be in its growth stage, it could be in its mature stage, it could be in its decayed stage. And so, you know, if you have a line, it's easier to feed off the storm behind you as you continue to perpetuate yourself and maintain your storm. In a single cell or a discrete cell, you don't have that expansive space of energy to keep reinventing. So the storms tend to just, again, rain themselves out. Great question, though. Let's see. Ooh. We have... see. Let's see. I'm going to go back up here to the radar site we were using. I always forget where this one is. I always want to go to Montgomery, but it's not in Montgomery. Where is it? There's Demopolis. There we go. And again, we're just monitoring severe weather across parts of Alabama as they've moved out of Mississippi. We mainly have just a couple special weather statements for heavy rain, frequent cloud to ground lightning. We don't have any active tornado warnings at this time. This area around Meridian to Laurel, just north of Hattiesburg, again, that's a flash flood warning. It'll expire here in about another hour. We have a special weather statement north of Montgomery. And that's mainly for cloud to ground lightning, winds in excess of 50 miles per hour, heavy rainfall. And we have another one, a special weather statement here across just northwest of Atlanta as well for this particular cell. Check the chat one more time. Okay, let's see. I'm going to switch to a different screen real quick. Let's switch to pivotal weather. I want to look at some things here. Again, as we look at our weather, we use a variety of models, and so we one of the ones we like to look at, and it's usually one of the earlier ones that comes out, is the GFS. The European tends to update a little bit later. We have the name, let's see, today is Wednesday, so that doesn't get us quite to Saturday. The GFS, we'll use the 18Z run of that, so that's the mid-afternoon run. And I'm going to look because we have the system that's bringing the heavy rain to the south and the storms. Again, this is valid as of 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. We have that snowstorm and the associated mixed precipitation making its way off to the northeast. But we are in a pattern. We're going to see a trough digging across the eastern half of the United States. Let me go back over here. I'm going to throw on a whiteboard so I can kind of point a few things out. Yep. Okay. So yeah, so we're going to, no, I didn't want to do that. So we're going to see a trough across the eastern half of the United States for our Friday. This is going to bring colder than normal air across that part of the United States. We're going to see snow across the northern Rockies. This is going to be the energy that's going to bring another chance of heavy rain and snow for the Ohio Valley into the northeast for our weekend. And it's all associated with this low that is sitting in the panhandle of Oklahoma. So as we move forward, there's the system that moves its way out. Here comes the other one. There's the storm. Saturday, we could have severe weather across parts of Kentucky and Tennessee for Saturday afternoon. And we could have another line making its way through Mississippi, Alabama, into Georgia and the Carolinas Sunday night into Sunday afternoon. While to the north, we have a deepening low pressure. As this low gets formed, it's about 1,000 millibars across parts of Tennessee. But as it makes its way into the northeast, it deepens to a 984 millibar low by the time we get to Sunday evening. And it's bringing heavy snow to Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire. And then behind that, we see a kind of a quiet pattern. But again, another system starts to develop by the time we get to Tuesday night into Wednesday, bringing yet another chance of snow to the Ohio Valley. And along the Gulf Coast, we could be talking about more severe weather. We watch out west for an atmospheric river to make its way onshore on Tuesday. All of that moves east, and we see atmospheric rivers beginning to impact British Columbia up here in the far left corner of your map. And that's going to bring consistent patterns of snow to the Ohio Valley as we make our way towards the end of February. In terms of our outlooks, the Climate Prediction Center, again, has kept most of the eastern half of the United States with below normal temperatures as we make our way through the last few days of February, while the west is warm. This is pretty much the pattern that we saw for most of January. And in terms of precipitation, the good news is we're going to be below normal precipitation, so we won't still see those heavy snow events that we saw over the last 2 weeks, this week and next week. So that will be calming down as we get into the last week of February. So right now I'm going to go back and I'm going to, let's see. I'm going to go back. Let's go back to Radar Omega. Yep, that's turned off. So yeah, we really don't have anything new with any of the storms that we've been watching. Again, it's just heavy rain that we're watching. So I think, let's see if there's any last minute questions in the chat. I don't see any. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and call this a night. Thankfully, it was not as severe of a weather night as we could have had across the area. It's, we saw a lot of action in the 7 to 9 o'clock Eastern time hour, but as we've gone deeper into the night, it's really just formed into a line of storms, mainly focused around heavy rain. So again, thank you for joining us here at the Weather Farm for this live stream. We hope to see you again real soon. Again, like, subscribe, share our channel with your family, your friends. Let them know where you get your weather information. And we will see you in our next video.